Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining me again. We had a great day at the office. Saw a lot of people, helped a lot of people. But again, happy Friday, and thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for the kind comments. As I told you last week, this is our second week into doing these video things, these video conferences, if you will. And it's new to me, it's new to the office. A little bit nervous about it, but happy to do it and thrilled to do it. So I appreciate the kind comments that people are making, not only from my own community, not only from this state, but outside the state, and in fact, believe it or not, outside the country as well. And keep going with those questions. They're great questions, and we had a couple good ones for today as well, and I'll get right into that. One quick one was, if a person is a carrier of COVID-19 but has no symptoms, will they eventually show symptoms? And I thought that was a great question. And the answer is no. We have our own immune system. Our own immune system is trying to fight this as well. And if you have no symptoms, you may go the entire 2 weeks or so, and the virus is cleared from your body. Because we don't have an antibody test out on the market across the United States and across the world yet, we have no way to determine those patients who have no symptoms and clear the virus. But the answer is, if you have the virus and you have no symptoms, you may never get those symptoms. That goes into another question that someone brought up, and I believe I touched on it the last couple lectures, the last couple conferences. And that is that there is a large percentage of the population with COVID-19 that have no symptoms. Why should they shelter in place? Is it fair to take, as one comment was, is it fair to take their rights away? And the bottom line is, some studies have shown 20 to 30%, some studies have shown 50% of people with COVID-19 will have no symptoms. And therefore, if they have no symptoms and they wear no mask and they're in public, there's a good chance they're going to spread that COVID-19 virus around. I know in my state of Georgia, there's been a shelter in place, although business restrictions have been eased as of today. As I said yesterday, that makes me as a physician in my community very nervous. As a physician, my estimate is likely that there will be a lot more cases because of the business restrictions being eased and people not continuing to shelter in place. And for those who are not sheltering in place, not wearing appropriate face masks or face coverings, as we talked about. But as far as challenging your rights, I almost wish it was never mandated in any state. Unfortunately, maybe it needs to be, but once you mandate something, then there's going to be a percentage of the population who are going to resist that, because we don't like to be mandated for anything. The way I see protecting others, in other words, the way I see wearing masks, is that I would do anything to help my neighbor. I would do anything to protect my neighbor from harm. I believe it's in our nature to do that. It's in our blood to do that. We talked about that child falling off a bicycle you wouldn't just stand there and watch it happen. You would try to protect that child, and you would protect your elderly neighbor if they had fallen down, on their front lawn. I mean, you wouldn't just stand there. You would go protect them. You would try to help them. The way to look at sheltering in place, the way to look at masks or wearing facial coverings is we're protecting others. We're protecting ourselves, true, but we're really protecting others. And if there was no such thing as being mandated, you would do it if you knew it was going to save your neighbor's life. We live in a free country, the United States. We don't need... There are politicians. There is authority. There are laws. But as a citizen, as a human being, we do things because it's in our nature to help others. Sheltering in place, wearing facial coverings is really, if you don't think of it as a mandated issue. Just think of it as you're helping your neighbor not get sick and not die. And that's the way I like everybody to look at it. And not to be so worried about whether you're losing your freedom or not. It's a matter of getting this viral disease under control. And why do we need to get it under control? Obviously, people are dying. Is the curve flattening? I try not to watch those things because you know what? If one person dies from this, that's one person too many. And if there's a way to stop that by wearing facial coverings, let's stop it, Up to 50% of people with COVID-19 are spreading COVID-19 because they don't know they have it. Let's stop it from spreading. Let's stop the death from this thing. Movie theaters are opening in Georgia. Do I think everybody should be sitting around each other, watching the next James Bond movie? No, that'd be crazy. We need to protect everybody from this right now. And the reason is it's so contagious. And someone asked a question, another great question was, what's the difference between this and the flu? Or this and H1N1. H1N1 is just another type of flu that we had in this country. This is not the flu. This is a virus also, though. Simply, broccoli and cauliflower are both vegetables, but they're different. The flu and COVID-19 are both viruses, but they're different. The flu kills people. COVID-19 kills people. The death rate for COVID-19, case by case, is higher than the death rate from flu. More people last year died from the flu than COVID-19 because there were more cases of the flu. There are less cases of COVID-19 because of shelter in place and because of facial coverings. COVID-19 is at least 40 to 50% more deadly than influenza. In other words, the flu. And that includes H1N1. If it continues to spread, it'll continue to be deadly. And the people who will die are the ones that are more at risk. And the people who will not die are the ones that are spreading it. Because the people who don't die from this, many don't know they have it. The elderly, by far, over 65 years of age, are at the highest risk. People with lung disease, people with COPD or emphysema or moderate to severe asthma are at high risk. Smokers are at a high risk. Please, if you smoke, COVID kills smokers. You know, I don't want you to stop smoking because you're on a ventilator from COVID-19. I'd like you to quit smoking because we know it's bad for you. You know it's bad for you. But COVID-19 kills smokers. Diabetics, poorly controlled diabetics are high risk. People with kidney disease are at high risk. People with liver disease are at high risk. People with obesity, in other words, a BMI over 30, or men, you know, a waist around the love handles greater than 40 inches, women over 35 inches, you are at high risk also. Certain things we can control of our risks. You know, if you smoke, please stop smoking. If you need help stop smoking, contact me, I'll help you. Obesity, you know, decrease portion size. Let's start slimming it down. Get an exercise program going. We have to stop this virus. The government is under, certain governments, certain states, all states, are under pressure to open because of economic and financial issues. And they'll open because of those financial issues. And more people will likely get COVID-19, and more people will likely die. It is not up to the government. We have to do it ourselves. We have to isolate ourselves. We have to stay inside ourselves. We have to wear facial coverings ourselves, not because someone's telling us to do it. It's because it will stop this virus and it will save lives. It'll save our neighbors. It'll save our families. It'll save our parents. Don't do it because the government is telling you to do it. Do it because it's the right thing to do. Happy Friday. I care about each one of you. I am, again, honored and privileged to be your physician. And if I'm not your physician, I look forward to being. But I look forward to always giving you the best information I can, and to help people learn, whether it be COVID-19 or anything else. Anyway, have a great weekend. Be safe, and think about what we're talking about. Thanks. Have a good night, everybody.